deadmau5 teaches electronic music production on masterclass.com. That's what we'll be talking about today. There's a course I just finished. It's about 6 hours long here. Really in-depth, all kind of stuff going on that he talks about. We're going to go through here, give my opinion and a review of the class, if you will. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you some other music production classes that you might be interested that aren't on masterclass.com. But let's talk about Masterclass real quick before we get into the deadmau5 thing here, because when you get a membership to Masterclass, you get access to all of their courses, and they do have a lot of stuff here. 100 courses. They have a lot of really cool music ones. deadmau5 obviously being one of them, and we're gonna get into this. They have Alicia Keys. They have other subjects as well. The art negotiation was a pretty cool one, but basically, you get a membership, you sign up, you get full access to all their thing. It's an annual membership, so you pay once a year, and I believe, yeah, it's an annual membership, so you pay for the whole year, and there is a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. So if you're not, you know, impressed or whatever, you can cancel your membership and get a refund within 30 days. So all the classes come with PDF workbooks for every class. You can download and watch offline if you have like an iPad, on the iPad app and Android and stuff like that. There's a Roku app, and a couple other apps, Amazon, and then yeah, that's it right there, the different apps. And of course, you can watch on computer, which is what I usually do. There are some other music production ones on here as well. I did some film scoring classes. I did some guitar ones. Timberland's on here as well. For some reason, since I didn't finish it, although I did. But anyways, let's get into this. Check out the deadmau5 course. Like I said, every class comes with a PDF. deadmau5 actually comes with 2 PDFs. The first one's just a real small, you know, fundamental guide, if you will. And to get the best out of this course, you're going to want to download the PDF. You don't have to print it out. I printed it out myself just to read along as I was taking a class. And they give you like tasks and stuff to do, assignments, if you will, as you're taking the class. So like I said, to get the best out of it, you're going to want to do that. Now, if you're not from, you know, hopefully you're familiar with creating some kind of music on your DAW or digital workstation or stuff like that, because he really doesn't go into how to use a DAW. He shows you his process. It's kind of like a lecture and overview of his process, tips, inspiration, advice, and all that kind of stuff. And so let's take a look at the PDF here, some of the assignments that you go along with. So, you know, there's a little background and stuff like that, introduction, and then it tells you how to use this course. So it's supplemental each lesson with chapter review, take it further, all that good stuff. Share your work in progress and ask your peers for help. There's a community here as well where you can share your stuff as you go along with all the classes, not just this one. And there's a link to it. Actually, you can just go to it from the class as well, and the videos. But you know, just read this, get the best out of it. You can take notes if you print it out, and some of the stuff that goes along with it. You know, every chapter has its own little chapter in the PDF here, and at the end of each one, there is an assignment. For example, right here, and they also recommend that you queue up a streaming service and listen to the songs that he's talking about in the class. And then some of them, there are links to different things within the PDF. Let me find one here. Like, yeah. So take it further. Live streams, keyboard shortcuts. If you're, this is for Ableton, I believe. Let's just click on it. I don't use Ableton, but if you're using, I use Logic, so I know my keyboard shortcuts pretty quick already. But there's just a lot of bonus stuff depending on what level of experience you have with this stuff. So it's, like I said, it's really in depth. There's a lot going on. I kind of wish they would have the PDF information within the course, because if you just watch the videos, it doesn't say, okay, here's an assignment, or do this or listen to that. It just kind of goes along, and you can do that. You can watch it that way, and which is cool as well. But to get the most out of it, I recommend getting the PDF as well. And the PDF goes along precisely with the video. So chapter 4 is chapter 4, building your home studio. And again, there's a lot of extra links in here that you can click on and stuff like that, assignments, and then there's the community and stuff where you can share your to get feedback and things like that. We'll take a look at that in a second. So let's take a look at the videos of the classes and everything. All right, so like I said here, there is actually that's 5 hours and 25 minutes to be exact. There's 23 videos. So basically the first video is just an introduction, and then he talks about his process in theory, and then his in practicing his process in practice or whatever, building your home studio, developing melodic structures. Basically, he just shows you his process of doing everything. He doesn't actually play an instrument, so he writes in chords and stuff into Ableton, and he goes from there. So basically, these first couple of videos are just his, like, again, process and techniques that he uses. And then if you're following along, he gives you, like, well, he doesn't actually give you tasks in the video. That's what I'm talking about. You got to get the PDF for that. He talks about listening to other albums as well, like some of the tasks are in the PDF, or like listen to 9 Inch Nails and Pretty Hate Machine and Downward Spiral, and you could hear musical ideas that helped shape his tracks and some of his tracks. So yeah, it's really in depth. Like I said, I wish they would do this, you know, watch this video and then have an assignment or something within Masterclass itself, but they don't. They just have, you know, the videos and then the PDF going along with it. But it's still very informative and all that fun stuff, if you will. And again, there is discussion down here. I'm gonna get back to the overview of the class in a second here, but you can also watch the individual videos, and Masterclass will do a thing too where you go, when you're on their homepage, they'll recommend, like, maybe you'll just watch, you know, a bunch of music production stuff from the different music production classes on here, or career advice, like a list of career advice from the different classes as well, which that's kind of cool too. Here's the community where you can leave your projects and get feedback on your projects and give feedback on other people's projects. And all the classes on Masterclass have this as well. You could just go in here and browse around and, like I said, post your stuff. And there is stems for one of his songs here, Snow Cone. I don't see them right now, but I think you have to click on it maybe from the class or the PDF. So you can download stems from one of his songs to mess around with. That's one of the tasks as well. But let's get back to the overview of the classes, stuff like that. So, you know, building your home studio. He talks about equipment that you're going to need and stuff like that, stuff he uses, and all that fun stuff. Developing melodic structures, his process on how he develops the melodies and stuff like that. Turning melodies into arrangement. Going over, again, his process and stuff like that, and stuff that you can emulate into your tracks or get inspiration from. Obviously, everyone that makes music doesn't do it exactly the same, and you might pick up tips and tricks here. Introduction to synthesized sounds. He goes into really in depth in these modular synths. I mean, it doesn't really show you how to do it, but he's showing you a lot of stuff. He has lots of modular synthesizers, which I'm sure most of us don't have. And then there's a video about digital versus analog synths, and he compares different sounds, like, you know, I believe Massive and stuff like that from Native Instruments and other instruments, and shaping the sounds with effects and processing. He goes into like a 20-minute video about that. And then there's 2 beats videos about creating the beats and stuff, and then structuring your songs. And again, along the way, take a look at the PDF. There's all kind of assignments in here for you to do stuff. He goes into talk about remixes and mixing, of course, of the songs, then mastering. So that's the whole process, basically, of everything that he talks about in here. His process, of course, from creating the song all the way to mixing and mastering. He does his own mastering, you know, and then he does a case study of Snow Cone, where the mastering, he shows you the techniques and stuff that he used, and then there's business advice, like starting your producing career, understanding the music business, and then it goes into like some on-stage stuff, technical stuff, you know, the show, and then closing video. So that's the overview. There's a lot of information packed in here. Again, it's 5 hours and 25 minutes, so I watched it over a couple days. Got really involved within the PDF. Did some of the assignments and stuff. I posted some feedback on the forums, and you can always go back there and post stuff on the forums. You don't have to just watch the class and do it once. You can always go back in there and post your whatever you want to post, I guess. You know, really, new progressive house record using this, new progressive house record feedback. Anyone up for collaboration? I don't see the stems on here. Again, I think I have to load that from the PDF, or maybe you could just do a search for it. But I download the stems, the snow cone. It's pretty cool. So overall, like I said, it's hard to tell, you know, where you're at in your music career or where you're at as far as knowledge of music production. But for me, you know, I got a lot of tips and tricks along the way. The modular synth stuff is cool. I'm probably never going to have a modular synth like that, but it's cool just to know that, kind of have that knowledge in your memory banks or whatever. Overall, I took a lot of these master classes already, and I haven't taken the other ones, the dance music one on here as well. I'm gonna take. I took the Timberland one because everything, like I said, is included with one membership of masterclass. So, is it worth it? I believe it could be very beneficial for anyone interested in, you know, music production. If you like deadmau5, it's very cool to watch as well. So that was a quick overview, of course. So, I mean, just for example, you go in more in depth in each chapter, like shaping sounds with effects and processing. There's like sub chapters of like thinking outside the preset box, using effects to create your own sounds, the secret to fat bass, reverbs, adding space and depth, processing into gold, crap in the gold, then your notes again. In the beats chapter, for example, dance beats should be for everyone. No such thing as a bad drum sample. Building your own kick sound. Just a lot of, you know, stuff that's just, like I said, it's an in-depth course. Obviously, you know, it's a master class, if you will. But I really thought it was cool. There's a lot of little nuggets in there that I picked up on, and you could watch them again if you want to go back to like the mastering section or the mixing section. Now, it's not a complete like mastering course on how to master every track. He just shows you like a review of the track, you know, one of his songs. And there is a link in the video description below. And just a full disclosure here, I am a paying member of masterclass.com. I paid for my membership, but I also am an affiliate of them. So if you do use my link in the video description below, I will make a small commission at no additional charge to yourself. So thank you in advance if you do use my link. If not, that's fine too, whatever. Some other cool music production classes that aren't on master classes, the ones from monthly, and I'll put a link down below for this as well to get a discount. Actually there's 6 on here right now. 2 of them are electronic music, 3, you know, are pop music. But I like taking all the classes because, like, even though it's pop music or electronic music, you could pick up things and for, you know, and for your productions and stuff from any of these guys. I'm in the middle of this class right now, but I did one from Charlie Puth, I did one from Lewis Bell, I did one from Blanks, I did one from KYGO, Ryan Tedder. Now the KYGO is electronic music production as well, and this one goes into, you know, these are more hands-on, like it's a 30-day challenge kind of thing, where, you know, the KYGO one, for example, they give you like 35 songs to pick from, just the vocals. They give you the vocal tracks and like the chord chart, and you can produce the songs around those vocals on your own as you go through the course. And it's, you know, you do 3 songs in the course. I did 4, but because you could do, after the course is done, you can do more. But so, for example, like you go in here and he goes through his process and you go along the way with him. So this is just, I don't know, this is due 75 days ago. I finished this a while ago, but producing the build up, you know, he goes, you know, this is just one of the videos in here. Then you go to next, and then you make a video. This is at the end of it. Hold on, let's go to the curriculum here. The different days, like day 1 through 13, part 1, synth and leads song. So he does like a synth kind of dropper, if you will, and you go through the course. As you can see, I already did this stuff. And as you go along, you upload your stuff for feedback, and there's a peer group here as well. And you have full access to these after you pay for the class. Now, this is a little more expensive because every class is on its own, a completely different price, whereas Masterclass, everything's included in one price. And I did full reviews on these classes, so if you want to take a look at those as well, check out my YouTube video. And I also have another video about Masterclass versus monthly.com's music stuff as well, so you can check that out as well. But just some other options. I like trying to get, I like learning as much as I can. I believe that, ongoing learning is great. You're just going to learn little bits of stuff here and there. I learned a lot from all these classes. So anyways, I'm just rambling on at this point. So I definitely recommend masterclass.com. I definitely recommend monthly.com for music production. And one cool thing about the Masterclass too is that there's so many other classes on there, other interests. If you're interested in other things, I find stuff, that, I was watching one on photography. I did the art and negotiation one. I did Wayne Gretzky's one. Just, because it's interesting and I like learning stuff. So anyways, that is all for now. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you soon.